Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie. But before that, we were talking about how our week has been going, having a little bit of just in general fun, just trying to, just relax a little bit today. And if you want to catch a part of that water conversation, as well as everything else that we were talking about in the pre-show, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will get you access to that bonus content and more. And now onto the meat and potatoes. Jujutsu Kaisen came out in December 2021. Producers for it are TOHO Animation, Studio Easter, and the studio for it is MAPPA. Source of it is a manga. The genres for it are action, fantasy, and shonen, and ran for about an hour 45 minutes.
Oh, you said 2021?
Yes.
That was the anime. The movie came out in 2022.
Premiered in Japan December 24th, 2021.
Oh, you're hurting my feelings. Okay. I was not aware that it had a dual second showing in America. That's nice.
Yeah. The movie came out in America like in 2022, which is not wrong, but it originally came out. I mean, if you want to be technical, you could say maybe they waited a week or did a special premiere single showing 1 week before the year 2022. But no, it came out in 2021.
Okay. Did you watch it in the English or the Japanese voice act?
Subbed. I watched it subbed.
You watched it subbed. I watched it subbed and dubbed. I hate to say it. Have you seen the show? I forget. You said you didn't.
Right.
I've actually seen the show, and the main characters in the show were present here as well, and at least the elder students. And I one of the things I really disliked was the fact that I saw the show before I saw the movie, and character development was not strong at all here.
Okay.
So
before we really get into it, the movie and the show are not exactly the same. The movie is the prequel to the show. That much is very clear to me. Even I could tell. The show came out in October of the year 2020 and ran through May 2021. So that's where the 2021, I think, in your mind came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as this movie is concerned, our main character if really focuses on Yuta, and he has a curse. At least you're led to believe that he has a curse, and it's a very violent curse, and it only happens whenever he starts to get bullied that this curse manifests itself and attacks whoever it is. And while in the show they say they were stuffed in a locker and it's the very beginning, or not killed, I am almost 100% certain that they were murdered. They were killed.
Oh, they were, 100% murdered.
100%.
Yeah. You can't fit 3 grown men in a regular closet and then expect them to fit perfectly. They were smushed and mashed and pulverized. And at least in the English version, they were a little bit more clear about there were murders, but they downplayed it due to the fact that a curse was involved.
Yes.
So they was just injured rather than straight up murder, so that you don't catch a case.
Yeah.
In the subs, I don't think they quite.
No,
there's a lot of stuff going on.
They said that there had been murders, but for him specifically, the students that were attacked or whatever were fine. And Yuta at the time of this is about 16 years old. He's in high school. He's kind of very meek, very
subdued.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, like, honestly, can you really blame Yuta for what happened to those punks at the very beginning? I mean, like, they kind of had it coming.
Absolutely not. The dude was like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're making me want to do this. You're making me. If he's making you want to do it by standing, by like saying, hey, please stop, go away. Yeah. You got bigger issues. Anyways, as a result, he goes to, Jujutsu High in Tokyo, where he then kind of learns about the curse and figures out that he's not the only one that has these problems or that is considered dangerous. And he's further exposed to a more dangerous side of life that they go out there and fight. And I feel like it gives him that sense of purpose, and you can see the healing process begin when he's introduced into the school.
Interesting. You see it as a healing process. Yes, I did see him damaged. I saw it as a lack of confidence rather than emotional damage, as
it's kind of both,
as you would expect. It makes a lot of sense that it would be emotional damage, but I just saw it as him. It wasn't. I didn't see a healing process there. I saw a slightly more confident person, as well as understanding, because for the most time, he didn't know what was going on. He knew what was going on because he would call Rika's name, which was his curse, but he didn't realize that it was what was he just blacked out, essentially, is what I understood it as, which for the better or worse, saved him from potential psychological damage of seeing what's happening. You know what I mean? Or do you think he was aware whenever these people were torn apart?
No, he was aware, and that's why he was so psychologically damaged from what had happened too. And it's not that when I say healing, it's not like, oh, he's horribly scarred from it. No, it's not just that he's trying to heal from his curse. It's from the traumatic events that happened even before that. It's the events and happenstances that happened revolving around him, because
the way the curse was manifested originally.
Exactly. And so he had to deal with or figure out how to kind of compensate for that,
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually. One of the things that they make very crystal clear is a curse usually it's not benign. It's definitely not benign, but it's not intentional, if that makes any sense. There's when you have a curse that has intent behind it, it becomes very strong, and they have classes for this. I think it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then special. Is that how it goes?
It's 4, 3, 2, 1. I thought in special.
Okay, so there's no 5. But the lower the number, the more dangerous and
stronger they are.
Yeah, stronger they are. More resilient, I think, would be another good one. And they're not the same. At least in my experience, and not in my experience, in my viewership, no two curses were identical. There were similarities, yes, but the form and function typically are unique to that particular curse. And it was made very clear that the weaker the curses are, the more they group together, just like humans.
Yeah, and they do make that specification where they or that correlation where the weaker they are, the more that they're gonna group together, the more they're gonna try and attack in a group as a whole. But at the exact same time, you can have a big one that's not weak amongst all those small ones as well, which means, also, which they didn't touch on, but it's my own personal viewpoint that the weaker ones will probably flock to a stronger one that they feel can kind of watch over them.
I guess I can see that too. I don't know. I guess my
personal perception on that. The movie and had said nothing about it. It's just from what I saw at the beginning.
Yeah, you got a point. And if we can't pull from other sources, I thought, and they don't substantiate anything, so it's possible that you're right, and maybe I'm right too. But I was under the impression that several weaker curses, let's say, will find another weaker curse than themselves and then consume that and then become stronger that way. Very similar to how they did it in Bleach, where the stronger the hollows were, is because they consumed other hollows. They consolidated that power. That was how I interpreted it. And then once it became massive enough, like in the school, that massive thing had a bunch of smaller curses around. It's almost like it's not worth the time to consume and grow stronger that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was what I thought. But to be perfectly honest, I can see your idea being your perception being correct too.
They never specifically state how the curses get stronger or if they can get stronger. We just know that there are some weaker curses. I feel like it honestly has to do with the curse energy or chaos energy that that revolves around it, and it feeds on that to make it stronger. But
That's true. That makes a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. They're not feeding off of each other. They're feeding off of the cursed energy, the bad feelings. And a lot of the curses that you see are generated from bad memories. And I thought it was really interesting, kind of funny in my twisted mind, that a lot of the bad memories came from school.
well,
Like there's an elementary school.
yeah, well, they specified, and it's not just bad memories. It's like negative memories, negative emotions, negative thoughts, and you have a lot of children that will give off those emotions and those thoughts and that energy constantly while they're growing up, because it's a natural part of life, and you're not sure how to interact or react with certain things. And hospitals are
Mhm.
the exact same thing. There's a lot of negativity surrounding a
Yeah.
hospital, a lot of the emotions, and they do specifically cite hospitals as another one. So anywhere where there's a lot of people, where there's going to be an abundance of negative emotion, is what they boiled it down to. That's where those curses will start manifesting the most.
Now I got a weird question. Do you think that the purity of the emotion matters? And the reason why I say this, elementary schools, you've got kids who really can't hide their emotions very well. If they're stressed out, it's a very pure form of stress. If they're angry, it's a very pure form of anger. It's very singular, very focused. Like if they
I would
did poorly on a
assume
test,
that it does not matter.
well, then what would stop that? What would stop a feeding ground from a very stressful company, a stressful corporation? Your boss is on you for deadlines. You're always behind. You're always this. You're always that. And the reason I say that specifically is animators.
Because so the reason why they specifically cite schools and hospitals, it's because those emotions are overwhelming and pouring out the whole time while you're in school. And where you're in a corporate or job environment, it's not going to be 100% of the time. And most of the time, you're just going to be like, you know what? Deuces, I quit.
Well, normally, yes, I would agree with that. But my information is very limited, and I'm only drawing off of other anime I've seen in regard to animators, always under a deadline, always like the death march, I think they called it. Like, you got to get this done. So you're staying late, you're sleeping in the office, you're waking up early, and this is your sole focus.
Yeah,
And
but
there was
they do the exact same thing for a lot of other things, but that's not necessarily people are doing it because they want to, or not because they are being made to. They're doing it because they want to, and a lot of the times for them it's a passion project, or it's not that they're feeling a negative side effect of it. They're feeling more of like, I will let other people down if I don't do this, or I will let myself down. So it's a sense of responsibility and not so much negativity behind it. Like sometimes I'll work overtime, and it's not because I'm being told to or I have to. It's because, you know what? I don't want to let the team down. I don't want to let the entire area I'm in charge of or anything like that down. I want to do better. I want to make sure that they're taken care of. And that's a completely different emotion. And it's not even a negative emotion. It's like, man, I'm really stressed out, but it's like, am I going to be able to do this? It's a different type of stress. It's not a negative stress. It's like, can I get this done? It's built in anticipation.
that makes a lot of sense. Okay, no, I can see that because I'm also under that sometimes as well, to the detriment to myself, because I usually am my biggest hurdle. But yeah, that makes plenty of sense. So yeah, okay. So it's not necessarily stress, it's negative emotion
Yes.
that would cause all of that negativity, which is implied due to the name.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, it is.
Oh, dear Lord. No, just the show, aside from the breeding ground for curses naturally manifesting themselves, I noticed that there was a lot of, at least from what I can see, a lot of different curse users. They use the curse that has been placed upon them, or a curse that they've manifested themselves to combat these curses, because these other curses, when they get strong enough, start to infect and they become a negative thing.
Yes.
And sometimes they kidnap children. Sometimes and maybe that's how they grow stronger, because they ate the kid. Granted, thankfully he didn't die, but the children didn't die. But in the elementary school, the big curse they were fighting was kidnapping kids. And I couldn't think of, if they weren't consuming each other for sustenance and they don't necessarily need sustenance, why would they do that? You know what I mean? Is it to gain strength, to get stronger?
Probably.
Is that
I would assume so. I mean, to gain the negativity or the negative energy to grow stronger, because it's not, and this isn't the first time that we see it during the movie too. We see it later on where they consume a person, or there's issues or problems revolving around it. So it's not just one size fits all. Like, oh, this is the only way you see it, or this is how you see this. They go into a little bit of detail. They kind of tantalize you with some of the information, but it's not the overall focus. It's the focus on Yuta, and it's the focus on his growth and understanding himself and being a better individual.
That makes sense. It's all about his own personal growth. And what I found really, really, well, cliched personally, but quite an interesting plot point was that the big bad here was another person, just with a different ideology, who was insanely strong.
Yeah,
insanely strong.
He was also ranked as special, just like Yuta. And I can understand, like, his ideology, his viewpoint of it is very, it's not that it's right, but it is a valid viewpoint. It is a valid train of thought, you know? And they do touch on it a little bit. They do touch on the thought process behind it, because, you know, you learn about a couple of the people that he took in, and it's like, you know what? They're just monkeys. They're animals. To him, they are just animals, mainly because of how they are. I mean, like, and that'd be my viewpoint too. If you're going to act like an animal, to me, you are no more than an animal.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And he kind of did that a lot. Like the main negative person did that a lot. I forget what his name is.
You're talking about the big bad?
Yeah, it wasn't Gojo. Ghetto. So the big bad, he wasn't necessarily evil, and he wasn't necessarily mean to Yuta. He was just, it's a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to take Rika from you because you don't really know how to use it. And here was my interpretation. He was trying to take it because he was like, you can't use it the way I would use it. And if I had it, I can change the world. And since you and I don't necessarily share the same viewpoint, then like my only option is I don't want to kill you, but I need to in order to take this from you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. You're not wrong in that thinking. I mean, like, that is basically it. But the main reason why he wants it too is he wants to defeat Gojo, to make it so that way they can win. Yeah, because not just Gojo. I'm saying him because they were friends. They were close, but he needed Rika to be able to actually defeat him, because that's one of the things that he was talking about when he was talking about it. He said we have, like, at best 20% chance to win. Just like we basically have no chance of winning. What'll change that to a 99% chance is if we get Rika, and I'm gonna go get that. That's that. Like, he laid it out pretty flat. Like, that's exactly what he's gonna do.
Now, what would have happened if he was to get Rika on their side, or not Rika, but Yuta to come over to their side? Would that still have been a thing that he could do, or would it have been more, you're still inexperienced, so I'm gonna have to take over?
If I feel like if he was able to get Rika pulled over, or not Rika, but Yuta pulled to his side, I feel like he could have done it, right? Like, he could have, like, not killed Yuta, but had Yuta there be with him. Okay. And he would have let Yuta live.
That makes a little bit of sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually. It could have been such a different, it could have been so different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even after everything was said and done, like, it just felt like it was such a waste of a life, because you had Gojo and Ghetto identifying each other as best friends, and it just could have been. They did go
to school too. Like, they did cite that. They gave a little bit of background that it's, you know, not like they didn't know each other. That he did go to Juju High School, and he did know them in, you know, as friends, grew up together and everything like that. It's just that he developed a very different ideology.
I feel like they were classmates, but there was a third classmate that really wasn't touched on. that I assume, because everything in threes is usually important, you got Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, I imagine that we'll find out who they are in a different series. Or did they mention that third?
No, they didn't. Not yet. Anyways, I mean, like, but it's like with anything else. I mean, they'll touch on it when they need to touch on it. I'm glad that
when
they
when
didn't.
It's convenient.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't like, oh, and then you remember so and so, and then that's it. That would suck. I would hate that. That would be horrible.
Yeah. Now, one of the cool things about this anime that I really liked was the fight sequences. They seemed very, I'm not going to say fresh, because it was very generic fighting, but I liked the diversity that they had in the fight styles. They're all styles I've seen before. And 9 times out of 10, any person out of the jujitsu school, overpowered. Just straight up, unbelievably, unreasonably overpowered. And all these curses. There was a part in the movie where it was the night of 1,000 curses, or 100 curses, or whatever. And they went through well over 100 curses. But like everyone who died was very nondescript, let's say, and just meh, you know what I mean? But everybody else who had characteristic that was unique just kicked ass, like straight up, just amazing,
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I feel like, because I see him on the cover art for it, I feel like they focused on him or touched on him mainly because they were from the series, and since this came out before, or this came out after the series, they wanted to kind of give you a little like touch base, like, hey, this is where they were at before the series, type of thing, kind of help you understand like what's going on. Everyone just like didn't spontaneously come into existence or anything like that. This is what was happening before then.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Mainly because a lot of the characters that you see in the series later on, when you find out what their powers are, you see them here fully. There's no explanation of their powers. There's no explanation of their personalities. But like their catchphrases were thrown out left and right, and the interactions were thrown out left and right. And because I had seen the show before the movie, specifically with Yuta, he's not in the anime. So I was like, okay, he's got to die. So now I was going through the whole thing expecting him to die, and then he didn't. And I was like, okay, how are they going to rectify this? Because this is supposed to happen before, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And they kind of did, but not really.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that they may try to tie it in to season 2 that's supposed to be coming out this year.
That would make a lot of sense. That would make a massive amount of sense, because there was a lot of really, really cool people you saw introduced in the movie, and you're like, they've got character arcs that you could go through. They've got so many different powers, schemes, abilities, personalities, just amazing stuff.
Old Jeb in our chat does provide some clarification for us. He says you're supposed to see the show before you actually watch the movie, and in the show it says that he is suspended. So
so they do mention him.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good clarification. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So, but
okay.
But I wonder why he was suspended.
Well, I mean, he does lose his curse in the movie. Like he doesn't lose it. He resolves it.
Yeah, but he has a different type of power beyond that. Like, he made the curse. He made the curse himself. And he comes from a very powerful family, supposedly, too. They specified that in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So Rika was his, to clarify, Rika was his curse, as well as his first love. And she died in front of him, and he went ballistic.
Yeah.
And I guess cursed her accidentally.
Yes.
To never leave him.
Yeah, and they do specifically state that too. It's not that he did it on purpose. He did it on accident.
Yeah, it was unintentional, because he was not aware of his lineage, let's call it. I don't think no, they do tell him. I was going to say, I think he's still ignorant of it, but they do tell him that he's got a rather interesting lineage. But yeah, he's supposedly this very, very powerful jujitsu user.
Yeah, or a family of
or his family was.
Of magicians, I mean, or whatever they want to call them, but
Sorcerers, yeah, magicians, sorcerers.
sorcerers. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, same thing.
Not a problem.
Not quite though.
Not particularly, but anyway, yeah, like if he was, it shows him with the ability to manipulate other abilities as well. Like he can take his curse energy and heal with it using a form of reverse curse, which was supposedly only people with high level can do. When I really liked the fact that they showed him learning. Otherwise, I would have accused him of being a Mary Sue, where everything just comes naturally to him. But they show him getting his ass kicked hard.
Oh yeah.
They show him. They showed the build up to explain a lot of it. They didn't really explain how he was able to use healing energy or the energy to copy other curses, which he did with the voice dude.
Right, but it wasn't just necessarily him that was doing it too. He was relying on the curse to be able to help facilitate it at the exact same time too, from what I was seeing. But
that's accurate.
The details for him too. I mean, like, I feel like it's because of the family nature and the history behind it. A lot of it you can also chalk up to just natural talent at the exact same time, simply because if he's coming from a very strong, very powerful family lineage, I would assume, probably incorrectly, but I would assume that he has some kind of natural affinity, natural talent for it.
That would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense, considering how important lineages are in this world.
Right. So, but
yeah, I mean, overall, it's a good movie.
It's a great movie. The animation I felt was very clean. I enjoyed it. The music too, I thoroughly enjoyed.
I don't remember noticing the music all that much. Personally,
they had an entire opening sequence after Yuta arrived at Jujutsu High.
Like I'll have to rewatch that because I don't remember that.
Entire couple minutes of just pure music. Him getting dressed, him getting ready, him walking there.
Oh. Yes.
Okay. They had music playing throughout, but that was the most prominent section. But they had it playing throughout. They had it playing through the suspenseful themes, during the fight sequences. I mean, like it was there, and it wasn't overwhelming for me.
You know, I feel like that's probably why I did not notice it as much as I probably could have. And that it kind of is a amazing, I guess, point towards how good the music was. It wasn't contradictory, so I didn't notice it to the point of, this doesn't fit. It probably fit very, very well to the point that it just blended in with the whole story.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and as to what you said, the animation style, phenomenal. I did pause it a few times, and there was a few funny little elongations of people's arms and faces and stuff like that. But
that's
for the most part,
for animation when they're doing it to try and replicate a specific speed. I don't know why you pause to see if they do that. They always do that when they need to.
I love it. The reason I pause and stuff like that is because when I watched Dragon Ball Super a long time ago, it was done to a stupid degree where it looked deformed and nothing made sense.
Well, they needed to
all living hell.
Yeah, but they needed to replicate and help portray a certain level of speed.
I would agree with that, except for the fact that I saw the theatrical release versus the DVD release, and the DVD release was much cleaner. So the fact that they could have done it like that means, in my mind, if you're going to put that kind of money towards it, it should have been clean
within a certain amount of time. God forbid they do more and provide post cleanup like they always do for DVDs.
I'm just saying, I hold it to a higher standard, and this did meet it, and I love it.
Your bull.
My facts.
Your bull. Your wants and wishes.
Hey.
Because they do that with a lot of things, and not just animation.
I only ever watch animation, so, well, that's not quite true, but I only watch and discuss animation with you.
There you go.
So, but yeah, no, I realize it's unrealistic to hold everything to a certain standard like that, but I do. And it's something that I am happy to say that this lived up to in a remarkable way. So,
all right.
Yeah, I was very, very happy.
I feel like this is a good spot, sir. So
I believe it is as well.
on a scale of up to 10, how would you rate
Well,
this?
on a scale of up to 10, I would probably have to rate this. We're just doing it. Sorry, we're just doing it with the movie, nothing on top of it, right? Meaning no. Never mind. Yes, we are. Okay, so just based on this movie with no context, I feel like this movie, specifically the movie, when included with that last little blurb at the end, like that last 30 seconds, I got to give this an 8, a really solid 8, a weak 9, but a solid 8. Like it's something I would definitely show other people. It was entertaining. It was informative. It didn't suppose you've already seen something else. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It wasn't holding itself here, expecting you to have building blocks prior. So you could watch this as a standalone or to the beginning of the series, and it'd be perfectly fine.
Okay, so what are you rating it?
8.
Thank you.
Ocho.
Good. All right. For me, I think
Like a 2?
yeah, I'll think I'll give it a 1 because it's total. No, I'm kidding. No, I'll give it an 8 as well. I feel like it was good. It was solid. It was clean. The animation was really good. I enjoyed the music. It definitely made me want to watch the series. That's for sure. I am glad that I didn't have to watch the series to have this make sense. So that is something that is a very big positive for it. Knowing that there is a series that does follow this kind of gives me some hopes and joy, and knowing that there is going to be a season 2 coming out this year also bodes well for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 8 and 8, 88. There you go. I know.
That's actually a really lucky number.
Okay. Next week's choice. It is my choice. And it is going to be a movie called Memories. That's all I know about it. It's called Memories. So if you feel like we got something right, something wrong, did it too much justice, not enough justice, just plain old got everything wrong or anything else, feel free to reach out to us. All our contact information for you is in the show notes, or you can go to our website, featuredanimepodcast.com. You can go there, give us a recommendation, tell us what we did right and wrong for what we have already reviewed. If you want to hear some of the pre and post show that we usually do with every episode, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will get you access to that bonus content. And if you want to buy yourself some swanky swag and help support us in that way, you can go to shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. If you actually want to buy the movie and help support us at the exact same time, we do have an affiliate link for you in the show notes as well, where you can go. It'll take you to Bright Stuff Anime. If you use that link and purchase the movie, we do get a little bit of a kickback, and it would be very much appreciated. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.